Unscripted.
You know, Microsoft and Sony have been going back a lot lately, back and forth when it comes to what they're doing to try and one-up each other. And I think that's absolutely fantastic. I love it when the companies kind of get competitive. I love it when companies try to one-up each other. It's not a childish thing. It's not a fanboy thing. It's just a business thing, and it really leads to great things and services and games for us, the gamers. And I think that's the part that most people kind of forget about when we're talking about this. They think that, you know, fanboying or whatever is some kind of like thing that has a certain age limit or whatever. I mean, you see people cheering, you know, their favorite soccer teams, their favorite football teams, their favorite baseball teams, basketball teams, hockey teams. Like, does that make them childish? No, of course not. You know, that's what makes life fun, is competition. And I think that that's really something that, you know, I've stressed a lot on this channel, and it's really kind of paid off to all of us. You know what I mean? I think that for the most part, you know, gamers in general are all pretty good folk. And it just comes down to, you know, our particular preferences. And we all get kind of caught up in this kind of faux war that can be fun if you don't get too personal with it. And, you know, I really do think that that's something that, you know, in general, that fans and gamers are going to have to kind of come together one day and just be like, hey, you know what? It's all in good fun. We shouldn't take this super seriously. Because you know what? I like the thing that I can't stress enough is these YouTubers and stuff, they're not taking it seriously. I mean, a lot of them are making bank by, you know, hopefully getting you to take it seriously, but for the most part, it's not serious. And when one company does something, the other company does something, and we kind of, you know, go on from there. And that's the way it's always been, and that's probably the way it'll always be. But this is very interesting, and I wanted to talk about this. You know, Sony hitting back. Microsoft has done some pretty incredible stuff, right? Like, let's just be real. Buying Bethesda is a huge deal. That's a huge deal. Now, I can remember I did a video like months and months before that happened, and one of the things that was rumored was that Sony might buy Bethesda. Now, at that particular time, I kind of have to point out that Sony was the rumor to do that, and I did a video something about like I kept it pretty ambiguous, like rumored to buy out Bethesda, console war would be over, or something along those lines. And if you actually listen to the video, I kind of spoke like, you know, the reason why the console war would be over was because you would have something like Bethesda, who has some quality talent, you know, and they would be mixing what already is, you know, quality talent with probably the top 3 or so developers in the world outside of, you know, Rockstar, right? Like, let's just be real. Sony Santa Monica, Naughty Dog in particular, Insomniac Game, these are top developers in the world. And, you know, it would have been a dire situation for Microsoft. Well, Microsoft ended up picking them up, and Microsoft doesn't have a Naughty Dog, a Sony Santa Monica, you know, an Insomniac Games. They don't have that. So it's not as a dire situation for Sony because Microsoft has them. You know, Microsoft is trying to do something, you know, kind of on their own or whatever. And, you know, is that going to work long term? I think that a lot of people probably have, you know, something to kind of say about that. But for me personally, I always loved the idea that, you know, Microsoft and Sony kind of battle back and forth. You know, I absolutely love that. I think that that's crucial to the betterment of the industry, to the growth of the industry. And I have to say, it's something that, you know, doesn't really shock me. And now that Sony has done something else to kind of better themselves, they've added a $200 million investment into Epic Games. Fortnite Maker gets another $1 billion overall and says it's valued at $28.7 billion. So why is this significant? We're going to get into that, but I wanted to cover it. Epic Games has another $1 billion from investors, $200 million of that from Sony, which pushes the company's value to $28.7 billion, Epic said in a statement on Tuesday morning. Tim Sweeney, the founder and chief executive of Epic Games, said the new investment will help accelerate our work around building connected social experiences in Fortnite, Rocket League, and Fall Guys, while empowering game developers and creators with Unreal Engine, Epic Online services, and Epic Games Store. Sony Group Corporation's $200 million stake follows a $250 million buy-in last summer, giving the company a larger but still minority share of ownership in Epic Games. Sweeney remains the controlling shareholder of the company, which is not publicly traded and continues to have only one class of common stock available. Tuesday's statement listed a dozen other investment partners and investment funds, making up the remaining $800 million. Sweeney's comments referenced the investor support of Epic Games' expanding concept of the metaverse, a kind of virtual environment where people gather for shared experiences in real time. We've seen this take shape in Fortnite, both with a plethora of crossovers from the Marvel Universe to Mandalorian and other huge pop culture properties and priorities since December, as well as in-game social gatherings like concerts and a trailer reveal for the latest Star Wars movie. In last summer's announcement introducing Sony as a partner, Sweeney said both companies share a vision of real-time 3D social experiences, leading to a convergence of gaming, film, and music. Together, we strive to build an even more open and accessible digital ecosystem for all consumers and content creators alike. Now, why is this significant, you might ask? Well, listen, it's heavily rumored that Sony has some kind of partnership with Epic Games to get some type of exclusive content, exclusive game. And there's even a rumor that Alan Wake 2 might be a console exclusive for the PlayStation 5, which would be a huge situation. Now, think about this for a second, okay? The reason why this would be a huge situation is quite simply the fact that the first Alan Wake was an Xbox exclusive. And you can't take that too lightly. That's something that I think a lot of people kind of, would be a little bit of a slap in the face if, it turns out that the sequel is indeed a exclusive for the PlayStation platform, even for a while, given the fact that Microsoft actually at one point owned the distribution rights, the publishing rights of Alan Wake, and just handed those back to Remedy because apparently Phil Spencer isn't a fan of Alan Wake, or he might not even be a fan of Remedy at this point, to be honest with you. I've heard a couple different things, but yeah, this could definitely be something of a situation that we should monitor and keep an eye on. But it just goes to show you, Sony's making investment, things can be done. I mean, when you put almost $500 million into something, it's not just like for the sake of it. You know what I mean? You're probably going to get something out of it before too long, and I think that's probably exactly what we're going to see. And you know what? Bravo to Sony. They continue to kind of do these things that empower them and that help them. And, gamers everywhere kind of starting to take quite a bit of notice of this for the simple fact that, Sony's going to continue to do great third-party deals, which, again, they keep doing that, right? Like, we can be honest and say this is something that is factual, right? They're not shying away from these big third-party deals the way that Microsoft has. Microsoft is making, a lot of these smaller deals and things like that, but it's not really giving their players much of a boon, so to speak, right? Like if you look back traditionally when Microsoft was doing these types of updates and stuff like that, originally they were getting some pretty fantastic stuff in terms of being able to go out there and get maps first or content first, much like how Sony does it. And now Microsoft doesn't do that. Microsoft would get like timed exclusives, look at Rise of the Tomb Raider or Dead Rising 4, or, the list does go on and on. Even back in the day, they would get stuff like Mass Effect 2 was a 1-year timed exclusive. BioShock was a one-year timed exclusive for Xbox. They were really good at getting their gamers content, and I think that's super smart to do because, at the end of the day, gamers everywhere just love content, and that's the most important thing. Getting your fans content, making sure that they feel like their thing is pretty much worthwhile. Like that, you have to have belief in what these companies are doing, and I think that's what we're starting to see. And I hope that that's what we continue to get from all these companies going forward. With that being said, thank you guys so much for watching another one of my videos. I'm Crapgamer, and this has been Crapgamer Reviews. Please take a minute to consider subscribing if you haven't already done so. You can hit the like button. That means a lot to me personally. It really helps the channel. It helps everything get seen. You know, and thank you guys very much for rocking out with me. I'm always taking suggestions on what to do. You know, I really do appreciate it. Shout out to some of the real fans too, man. I think you guys are great. G2 the Universe, shout out to that dude. He's a bud of mine. He's in the comments and stuff like that. And I just really, you know, he's been helpful with kind of giving me some ideas for the channel and stuff like that. So if you actually are somebody that wants to, you know, give me some suggestions and ideas, feel free to do so. But that dude's a pretty cool dude. Thank you very much for rocking out with me. Please stay safe, happy, and healthy, everybody. Rack 'em up. Game on, my friends. Game on. Crapgamer out.
Unscripted.